Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to the NAB show and Sony's second demonstration on virtual production, live multicam virtual set workflow, and live augmented reality for broadcast. If you saw our previous presentation, you know that virtual sets based on Sony's crystal LED wall are making great strides. The benefits are powerful drivers, changing the face of cinematic, single-camera production. But what about multi-camera? What about news, sports, and talk for live broadcast? Wouldn't it be great to use the same studio for morning news and afternoon talk, changing backgrounds instantly? How much money would you save if you could use a single studio for your sports betting show and your post-game show? How much more creative could you be, knowing that you could locate your set in almost any space for any occasion? And what if you could do it all with unprecedented quality? At Sony, we're making all of this possible today. We're a leader in applying the benefits of virtual production to multi-camera live broadcasting. But to deliver this new application, we needed to overcome a new challenge. Every time the technical director switches cameras, the LED wall background needs to change accordingly. Everything must be in perfect sync, and that's exactly what we're demonstrating today. Our system consists of two familiar Sony broadcast cameras, camera position sensors, a Sony production switcher, a pair of game engines to supply two different versions of the 3D computer-generated background, and our beautiful crystal LED wall. And let me emphasize, these are all commercial off-the-shelf products available now. So, let's see how the system performs, starting with our virtual 3D background on the crystal LED wall. As you can see from the monitors, the output looks terrific. Just what you'd expect from a Sony broadcast camera in real space. And you can see there's perfect synchronization between the LED wall and the camera's exposure timing. Now, let's switch between cameras and watch as the background image switches in sync. Let's take a look. Because you have the same production switcher controlling the program and the LED wall, we have achieved perfectly clean switching with the quickest response. I'm sure you've noticed that rectangle superimposed on the crystal LED wall. It's called the inner frustum, and it lets the entire crew understand what part of the background is in the take. Now let's pan and tilt the HDC 5500. When we do, the inner frustum moves in sync. So how does the game engine generating our background know when the camera pans and tilts? It's not magic. Like some others in our HDC series, the 5500 includes a built-in inertial measurement unit that can sense pan, tilt, and roll. And then it can report that information to the game engine, which adjusts the background accordingly. Here on our virtual set, not only can we pan and tilt the camera, we can also move it. Attached to the F5500 on the right is a position sensor from Moses. This measures camera position against floor markers using infrared light, and then reports the position in real time to the game engine. So far we've done pan, tilt, and move. What about zoom and focus? Thanks to its B4 lens mount, Camera 1 already has access to lens data. So this information also goes to the game engine for real-time processing. Now, let's get some talent up on our set. In a virtual production shoot, the LED wall can only display one inner frustum at a time, but we also need to show the standby camera's proper framing with its own correct inner frustum. And if you look up at the multi-view monitor, you'll see that's exactly what we're doing. Please see the bottom 8 windows. The bottom row shows the trimmed foreground and the correct LED background for each camera. These are combined to show the correct return video to each camera operator's viewfinder, which is shown on the right 2 windows of the center column. Now we're switching to camera 2, and as you can see, the top right window is outlined in red, and the LED wall is showing the inner frustum for camera 2. This would be a challenge for the camera 1 operator because the LED wall isn't showing the correct background for camera 1. For this reason, We provide Camera One with its own dedicated return video showing the proper background. The Camera One viewfinder sees the correct background as shown in the bottom left window. Now, let's switch to Camera One. We see the inner frustum changes and the framing is exactly what the camera operator expects. In our demonstration, the technical director always sees the correct background on the preview monitor, while the standby camera operator sees it in the viewfinder. In this way, the production team can switch with confidence anytime. Today we're showing 2 cameras served by 2 game engines, but you can use any number of cameras. You're unlimited. The impressive picture quality you see is made possible by a careful selection of system components. On your right is our F5500, a single-chip Super 35 camera. On the tripod is a 5500, a 3-chip 2/3 inch camera. Both offer specific advantages in virtual production, including 4K 60p HDR delivers great pictures right from the beginning. Global shutter is the only way to capture all the LED light emission with maximum exposure time for the best picture quality. And full compatibility with Sony's live production infrastructure means you can use all the familiar viewfinders, CCUs, and remote control panels, plus take advantage of SMPTE fiber, return video, intercom, the works. Switching between cameras is our versatile modular XVS G1. Our 3D computer-generated backgrounds, one for each camera, come from a pair of computers running the off-the-shelf Unreal Engine from Epic Games. This game engine is a leading choice in computer graphics. Finally, the background is provided by our latest Crystal LED B-Series display in a 4K by 2K configuration. It has a host of features ideal for live broadcast studios. You can see for yourselves the Crystal LED picture quality, including wide color gamut, high contrast, and low reflection with our deep black coating. Its wide viewing angle gives us tremendous flexibility in camera placement. The high brightness is perfect for HDR production, and the fine pixel pitch, 1.5 millimeters, minimizes distracting moire, so you can bring the camera closer or zoom in tighter. While all these individual product features are great for virtual production, there's more. Only Sony is a leader in both broadcast equipment and the LED walls, and the total Sony system delivers powerful advantages, including high quality with 4K 60p and high dynamic range, familiar operation with a normal production switcher, shading, multi-view, and so on. Seamless switching. First, because the same production switcher is controlling both the program and the LED crystal LED wall, and second, because we have simultaneous computer graphics rendering for each camera. Sony's system also provides full synchronization between global shutter cameras and the LED wall. You get full exposure time with no penalty in picture quality, no limit to the number of cameras, and finally, an inner frustum display on the LED wall to help the entire crew understand each shot. You can place your talent into any room, any stadium, any racetrack, lakeside, or mountaintop, anywhere in the world. You can achieve altogether new creative options, working smarter and faster and at far lower cost, all thanks to Sony's live multicam virtual set workflow. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to our next subject, live augmented reality for broadcast. Augmented reality, AR, has vast and exciting potential for broadcasters. It promises the ability to place computer-generated objects not simply superimposed on top of a scene, but into the same space as the talent and set. When you can add any object to any shot, you're unleashing a new world of creative possibilities. Imagine 3D team logos, sponsor logos, or animations that mesh perfectly as you cut to commercial. Imagine sports scores, animated in 3D and pivoting automatically as the camera moves. Yet for all these possibilities, a big practical issue has limited the use of live AR. Anything we do with the camera, such as pan, tilt, zoom, or move, needs to trigger a corresponding change in the AR object. To make it happen, we need a robust pipeline to transmit metadata in perfect sync with the video from the camera position back to the computer that's generating the AR. There's quite a bit of metadata to send, For example, if we're going to pivot the camera, we need to track and report camera pan, tilt, and roll. For cameras that move, we need to track the camera's location in space. And if we're going to operate the lens, we need to track the lens focus, zoom, and even iris. And those are just the obvious needs. A more subtle issue is the geometric distortion inherent in every lens. A computer graphic is geometrically perfect, but your perfect graphic won't look natural when placed into a distorted scene. So, a convincing AR effect will need to track the lens distortion parameter in real time. It sounds like a challenge, a mess of additional sensors, cables, and signals to distribute. But today, Sony is demonstrating live AR with no other sensor than the camera itself and no other cable than the SMPTE fiber we're already running from the set to the camera control unit. 3 key enabling technologies make this possible. First, Sony has built a significant feature into our HDC F5500, 5500, 3500, and P50 broadcast cameras. It's an inertial measurement unit that can sense pan, tilt, and roll. Second, the B4 lens mount already communicates focus, zoom, and iris status from the lens to the camera. And third, the information on lens distortion is calculated based on the B4 lens mount interface in the camera head and sent to Unreal Engine in the metadata package. Therefore, no additional new interface is necessary for the lens combination. This is true for either portable lenses or large box lenses. If we also wanted to move the camera, we'd need an external position sensor to track and report. In fact, just such a system was used for the broadcast of February's big football game. Fox Sports took advantage of the P50 to create some high-impact augmented reality shots. The Fox Sports rig included the SkyCam aerial robotic system, our P50 camera with lens metadata output, outboard position pitch roll yaw sensing from RaceLogic, and CG render from Silver Spoon Animation. It was impressive. Incidentally, the same P50 camera that supported live AR was simultaneously capturing high frame rate video. Both signals were sent back at the same time from the same camera. That speaks volumes about the power of our little P50. So, let's work some magic here. We'll be demonstrating live AR with our HDC 5500 broadcast camera with the built-in inertial measurement unit to keep track of pan, tilt, and roll. Using technology now in development, the camera transmits the metadata in real time over SMPTE fiber to the camera control unit, which then forwards it to our computer graphics center, Unreal Engine. It's the go-to computer graphics application from Epic Games, a company in which Sony Group has an equity stake. We're using Unreal Engine right off the shelf, no special feature sets. Our shot will use the virtual background on our crystal LED screen featured here in a 4K by 2K configuration. As you can see, our picture combines real foreground objects together with an augmented reality piano and glass in exactly the correct position at exactly the correct angle. Shot at 4K 60p HDR, the quality is fully consistent with your best on-air look. Even when we pan or tilt the camera, our augmented reality piano and glass adjust perfectly in real time. Now, let's put the lens to work. As we operate zoom and focus, Unreal Engine again adjusts in real time. You can see how well it works. Finally, let's check out lens geometric distortion. You can see the straightboard below the keyboard is slightly distorted as if you're shooting a real piano. Notice how the horizontals and verticals match between the real image and the 3D CG image. To sum up, you can change the camera's tilt, pan, zoom, focus, or iris, and in every case, the AR-composed output video is always stable and accurately positioned. It looks just like the virtual objects were right there on set. And in our demonstration today, all the metadata originated with the camera, and it all passed through the same SMPTE fiber. So, live augmented reality for broadcast is very close to widespread availability, readily compatible with existing broadcast workflows, existing infrastructure, and existing cabling. Live AR is just one more indication of how virtual production is changing the face of media. We've already seen it in cinema, and now we're seeing it in live production, combining virtual backgrounds on the LED display and virtual objects in the foreground. Soon you'll be able to put it to work in your studio, or for that matter, any other shooting environment. By now you've probably noticed that in the world of virtual production, Sony is unique. Only Sony can offer you the LED wall, cameras, and switcher. Plus, we even have a stake in the rendering engine. Almost everything you've seen is existing technology using commercially available products. Live AR using a camera with internal pan-tilt roll sensor is just around the corner, and the potential is just about unlimited. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thanks for visiting, and feel free to direct your questions to the friendly, helpful Sony representatives throughout the booth. Thanks again, and have a great show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.